Hi folks, I'm AGIS and this is the return of the sounding board, where we used to talk about movies, comics, bizarre ideas, and other stuff. But tonight we're going to talk about The Hunger Games 2, Catching Fire. I thought this was a pretty good film compared to the first one, which I really didn't like. I thought it was boring, kind of a rip-off of the movie Battle Royale, as well as Rollerball with James Caan, not the remake. And it was just dragging on. The characters are very unlikable to the point that you're going, I want to see Catrice die. I want to see her worthless male die. Because Pita is really, really worthless in the first film. You know, he's to the point that you're going, why did you even save him? But in the second film, which starts off with a good catch, is Catrice is reliving the battle scars of what she did. She's living with these sins. And as the movie progresses, it goes from, how would you put it? It still stays in the sci-fi, the paranoid sci-fi premise, as I would call it, where this is, if we make these choices, this is the certain events that are going to lead to our evolution of humankind. And basically, she ends up getting caught being the person they see as hope, and sparking the feel of rebellion to the upper class. For the lower class, have no hope of moving up unless they win the Hunger Games. And in this one, we get to see a little bit more of the decadence of what the Hunger Games did to entertain. The people they really did entertain. Because, yes, it did entertain the poor, because they were like a football game. They're watching their favorite teams or players win. So they're cheering for those. But for the upper class, it was like a game. It was just something they could throw another party with. Almost a sort of Sodom and Gomorrah-esque style city. And when the hero of the last games becomes bigger than the political heroes, that's when this one starts taking over, in the sense that when is the common man important and the political figure is important. And so the common man becomes important and the political figure sees her as an enemy and needs to get rid of her because she's sparking hope in the people he wants to keep in their positions or social lives. And so this one is basically the same thing as Battle Royale. So don't expect much or expect a big change from the first to the second, because the title of the movie is The Hunger Games. So you got to have the Hunger Games somewhere. So the first version, The Hunger Games is more like the film rendition of the movie. This one takes a lot from the source material of the comic book and manga. I mean the comic book and movie in Japan. Not the movie, but the book. Because the Battle Royale was originally a novel, then a manga, and then a movie. For the way the traps work in here are very similar to how the Battle Royale setup is on the island. Same as how the guy who runs the game in this one is more like the guy who ran the games in the novel or the comic. Except for at the end, they do this 180 with him and he actually is a good guy, not a bad guy, that you really want to see die. This has some pretty good performances by, let's say, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Donald Sutherland, Woody Harrelson when he's on screen in this film is a scene stealer, and so is Lenny Kravitz. Peter is a better character. He's not so whiny, not so worthless as a male character. He's actually useful. And Katris goes from Hunter to Green Arrow, which speeds up a lot of the film and makes the action a little bit more entertaining to watch. But I would say, if you're just looking for film entertainment value, this one's a good standalone film. You don't need to watch the first film, but if you want to know what's going on from Katris's point of view, what she had to go through, her trials from the first film, it's worth sitting there and dragging yourself through the first film. But if you don't want to, this one's a good standalone film, and it's worth checking out. And then at the end of the film, almost leads into the way the film renditions of Battle Royale ends. Because Battle Royale doesn't have a sequel in Japan, only in film. And in film, it leads to a rebellion, because people don't like the games. At the end of this one, people are not liking the games even more so. So, if you want to see the films, and if you like films like this, I would recommend checking out Stone Cold Steve Austin's Condemned and the film of Battle Royale. Now, if you really want to see the source material of Battle Royale, you need a little stronger stomach, for it is very graphic, and there are certain things that happen they could show in a manga or a book and tell you about that they won't show you in film, because it could give you an X or an R rating. And so you need a little stronger stomach and constitution to check out the source. But if you do, I would recommend checking out Battle Royale just to compare notes on how much the Hunger Games takes from the Battle Royale universe and source material. So until next time, this is HC261 signing off.